All right. I just went live. So Shauna's going to check it on Keto Mojo Go the page. So we'll see if this works or not.
The page, not the group.
Right.
We are seeing ourselves. Now let's
share. Went live. So Shauna's going to check it on Keto Mojo Go the page.
Uh-oh.
All right. So yeah, just go ahead and mute your side.
I just showed up. The page. You're seeing. It's a little bit late, so we're gonna put the sound off for Facebook and have this sound there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't interrupt.
There we go. Yeah, I see them. And I see a little us. I like it. The word little, yay.
All right. So let me go ahead and share a couple of these out because this looks like it's working. So this might be something you guys can try in the future too. So what you do is you start up Skype, and then you go Facebook Live, and then you share, and then you just share the screen, and it works.
I see. That looks really good on our side because the image looks even better on Facebook than it looks on Skype itself.
How does that happen? That's interesting.
Weird. You look fantastic anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Can you share it with the groups?
It's a thing Microsoft has to deal with, actually.
All right. So while Shauna's sharing with the groups, let me go ahead and get started. So welcome, guys. We are live doing our weekly Coffee with Keto Mojo Go, and we have our special guest with us today. We have Greek Goes Keto. We have Roberta and Apollonis. Is it Capsalis? Is that correct?
Yes, Capsalis.
All right, Capsalis. And these guys have been, we've been in contact with them since very early in our keto video career, and we really appreciate the support they've given us, and we've been trying to spread their information as well because these guys are major keto foodies. These guys know how to make the ketonized food so you can eat deliciously and but yet still be on keto, which is amazing. Some of the things are pretty complex for us. Some of the ingredients are kind of hard to come by, but nonetheless, the food looks beautiful, and we've tried a couple of things, and they are fantastic. So I definitely recommend checking out their Greek Goes Keto website and follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. These guys are always busy, and they're putting out something. It seems like every day you guys put out at least one thing. It's just astounding to me how busy you guys are and how hard working you are. We definitely highly respect that. So tell us a bit about how you guys got started, and what your mission in life is.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for having us, and we love to share this live video with you. And also thank you for participating in our live videos. When we go live, we really appreciate your questions and your comments. So I think Apollonis should start because he is a certified nutritionist, actually nutritional therapist. So he should say a little bit more about his trip from classical Mediterranean to keto Mediterranean.
Yeah, I grew up in Greece. Greece is known for a beautiful place and, of course, the wonderful food that we have. Everything is coming from the sea, a lot of seafood. And this Mediterranean cuisine generally gives us the great opportunity to experience something different from the whole world. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like something in general in Mediterranean diet, and that was the enormous consumption of carbohydrates. Everything is interrelated with carbohydrates in Mediterranean diet. But when I started studying the nutrition in the university, I found out that carbohydrates were the actual component that made us sick.
Absolutely.
Not only the older people, but eventually, as I said before, the younger generations. That was for me the key to start Greek Goes Keto. This was actually the main component to start Greek Goes Keto and experience all the health benefits for myself and, of course, for everybody who wants to follow the ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
Right.
So, when he started, actually, I was already deep into paleo and low carb. And for years, I actually tried to make him give it a try. It's really good. No, he was in this standard, let's call it bodybuilding diet and sport nutrition, which always wanted 50% of calories to come from carbs. And he was trying to make those carbs healthier. So he would go for buckwheat, or he would go for quinoa and amaranth and those pseudo
cereals. Yeah, mainly, let's say, low glycemic, I would say.
But it didn't work.
Yeah,
when
that's
it
not
comes
enough.
to his IBS, he actually suffered from IBS, and it was a severe problem, especially during competitions when he was a professional basketball player, and also during his bodybuilding years. So I told him, I think we should both try low carb, and then he made it like a total. He turned everything upside down and said, "No, we're gonna go keto, 100% keto." He actually then started his studies on ketogenic, and he actually in London. He found an academy where he can study online and give all the exams online. So he was like
that was actually the step further,
dedicated to this 100% and started working as after he, of course, he obtained his diploma in nutrition therapy. He started working as a nutrition therapist and also continue as a personal trainer. So he was actually exploring both worlds, the world of fitness and the world of nutrition. And as the time passed, I started also investigating all about it, but I was a foodie all my life. In Croatia, there is a website where people are competing with their recipes, etc., and they're getting big prizes. It's the biggest food food industry in Croatia, and I was a winner of one of those contests. So I was like making everything carby, making cakes, I'm really experienced with baking.
Right.
And
you can tell.
it was a challenge. Yeah, it was a challenge to throw all the gluten and the sugar and all these other things which make the real baked goodies look good and feel good, and try to make something from healthy and low carb ingredients, and especially ingredients which, the goal, Apollonius told me, if you want to make a dessert, it must never have more than 4 grams of net carbs per portion. Now, this is very tempting, you really need to keep your carbs low, but then you might end up with something tasting a little bit weird. So I had to work around a lot to make all things tasty. And then we had non-ketonians visiting and testing all this. So everything that has been published that goes keto, every dessert, every bread, every savory dish or a meal has been tested first by both ketonians and non-ketonians. So we don't post something if we don't have from both of them some positive feedback. So this was a journey. Because keto started 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, it was like previous December, not this week, 2016 December.
But we've been into keto 2 years now.
Yeah, more.
Wow.
Now, Apollonius, I remember when you were eating a lot of these low glycemic grains, you were having some health issues from that as well. Weren't you having some IBS issues that were, and so was that one of the things that you changed when you got away from those grains as well as getting away from the carbs?
Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of inflammation. These grains and all these cereals generally gave me a lot of inflammation. By cutting out cereals, even fruits, especially bodybuilding, when we're talking about bodybuilding, a lot of bananas. Banana with this, banana with that, and all this was creating inflammation. And by putting putting out this from your diet, I would say that helped me a lot and probiotics, of course, here to replenish with bone broth, my microflora in the guts. I can say that I cured IBS.
Right.
I don't have any issues at all.
Mhm.
This is what ketogenic diet is all about.
It's amazing.
It's a cure.
Mhm.
When I started keto, I was slightly overweight. I cannot say that I had a lot of problems, but I didn't like the way I looked, and also I didn't like the way I felt. I lost 10 kilos, and now I really can't help you now. Maybe we can use a converter, a kilo to pounds, so you can understand it. 10 kilos is,
Yeah.
well,
20 pounds ish. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And
So
I
not
did
that
it
much.
like in 6 months. In 6 months, I lost 10 kilos and I was at my ideal weight. And 1.5 years, I'm not losing, I'm not gaining, I'm at my ideal weight. And I'm never measuring with a scale. Occasionally, I measure, and it's always staying like the same, but I measure with my favorite genes.
Mhm.
This is what I always say to people: forget the scale. And Aparna explained it really well in the weight loss plateau, his article that he wrote at Rigorous Keto. Your friend is this soft tape, Taylor's soft tape. Not a scale, because sometimes you're losing a lot of water, sometimes you're gaining some muscle mass, because it's possible. If you increase your physical activity, you can gain some muscle mass, and then the scale will show that you have more.
Yeah.
This might discourage you. So.
It's not accurate, and I think you should throw it away. You must not use never scale. The best friend is definitely the mirror, and also, like Roberta said, the pants, jeans, or something like this that you can fit.
Another thing which I really cured with keto is the panic attacks, the anxiety. I'm a graphic designer, and I used to work under a lot of stress and under a lot of lines. And all this produce this psychological effect, which is even worse if you are eating a lot of carbs. And ever since I'm on keto, I didn't have not even one panic attack or anxiety episode. Nothing happened, not even once. I don't know if it's placebo. But I don't think it's placebo, because the only thing that changed in my life is the diet, nothing else.
Right.
So I think it's keto.
Yeah, I watched a podcast just yesterday with Ivor Cummins and Michaela Peterson. I don't know if you saw that or not. And she talks about how she used to be on a ton of SSRIs, right, drugs. And one of the first things that happened with her when she went all the way down to carnivore, of course, but as she started eliminating these foods, one of the first things she was able to do was get off of all those SSRIs, which is just amazing. I mean, because people, we had one lady today just post on our autoimmune group that she is now able to stop taking 18 prescriptions.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, this is life-changing, and that's one of the reasons this is so important to us. We have a big healthcare crisis in the United States, right, and everywhere around the world. If we can control, first of all, type 2 diabetes and inflammation, we've probably handled 80 to 90% of the healthcare crisis right there. We aren't even making any claims about cancer or anything else. I mean, the data's out there too, but we're not trying to make any strange claims. We're just saying that if we can handle type 2 diabetes, inflammation, and coronary disease as a result of it, we've taken care of most of the health risks that people face. And so we no longer need to spend billions or trillions of dollars on healthcare anymore.
But you can see how many actually studies coming out now that saying, for example, yesterday I read that eggs, 3 or 4 eggs, you can have stroke, you can have heart attack. I don't know what they're thinking. Actually, who's behind this? Who's funding these studies?
You have to always read who is behind the study.
Right.
If anybody can publish. Who can? With whatever degree you have, you can write and publish a study online. There are scientific magazines that's gonna publish it, and you can say it's a published study.
Yeah.
It's a different study, but is it?
Yeah. Well, it's not a random controlled trial, for one. It's a link to, so it's an epidemiology study, right? But the big deal is it's coordinated. right? So when they get these studies out, like you said, who's behind it? When they come out
Right.
in every single major publication at the same time, you know it is nothing but an attack, right?
Yeah, because actually they're terrorizing the people who are in transition
Mhm.
from this, let's call it regular diet,
Yeah.
go to keto or even carnivore. Why not?
Yeah.
And they're reading these news. You're gonna have kidney disease. You're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna have this. You're gonna have that. This terrorism.
Mm.
Because let's be honest, pharma industry and food industry, they're losing billions.
Sure.
That's it.
Mhm.
And full stop.
Yeah, I mean, they have to react. I mean, they're going to react one way or another, and this is a predictable attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But what works for our grandmothers, it's gonna work for us. Back to the kitchen.
Mhm.
The
Right.
other night we had a live video, and a person from USA asked about bone powders.
Going about, yeah.
Mhm.
So we asked, why not bone broth? Like from plain bones. So if you can find grass-fed beef or even chicken, you can boil it for several hours and then have for a week bone broth. She tells us, I don't have a butcher in my town, and I'm forced to buy this, which is actually industrial overprocessed product, which is okay. It's had to go under severe thermal processing because it had to be like dusted, turned into dust. So I'm not saying it doesn't have minerals, but it definitely has some additives to keep it in this dusty form, not to get cakey, etc. So if it's industrial, it's in most cases it will not be as good as something made from scratch, as something bought from a local farm if it's possible. If not, then from a butcher, from a marketplace or something like that. This is the main idea we are trying to promote, and it's very difficult to give this idea to industrially developed countries such as yours, which is based on food industry. Generally, your country has everything industrial. Whatever you wish for, it exists, and you can get it online. It will be in 3 days on your doors or less.
Sure.
For us, it's like when we want something, we have to actually go out and get it and find who's going to sell us something like. But this is another adventure. Yesterday, actually, we went to the forest and we picked some wild asparagus. I cannot explain to you what a wonderful feeling it was eating these wild asparagus with beef, which we got from a local farm. It was full of flavor, full of life, actually. You feel energized, and you know that you actually went to the farm, you gave your money to the farmer who worked really hard all year around to produce this kind of meat, which is organic, and then you went and picked your side dish with your hands and prepared it at home. And as a reward, of course, in the end, you had a piece of chocolate, which is our biggest success in the keto world, the dessert, which is maybe you know about
chocolate pie,
chocolate pie, with actually a cake with all 100% keto friendly ingredients. And another thing which today happens on Twitter, it's like all the time we have a lot of interaction with the people from the USA. There was a recipe which included mascarpone. We're using it a lot. We're just opposite from Adriatic Sea, from Italy, and mascarpone is a thing which is available here, an organic mascarpone, in just about any store. So this person said, but this is so expensive and it's not easy to find it in the USA. And we were quite surprised, actually, because to produce mascarpone, you need just 50% butter and 50% cream.
Right.
And you have such a huge dairy production in USA, but usually you will not find these fatty things. Most of the things are from skimmed milk and from, industrially overprocessed. Like, for example, the same thing we have with goat milk products. People in the USA complain they cannot find goat milk.
Yeah, actually, we're obsessed with goat milk products.
But the benefits, the health benefits are enormous.
Mhm.
It's like really, really great. And I have noticed that in USA, goat farming is growing. I see a lot
Yeah.
of goat farmers having their YouTube channels showing how they are feeding, how they are maintaining goats, how they are actually milking them. And it looks amazing, really.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody should just look around. And maybe there is a goat farm nearby where they can go.
Yeah,
where
well,
they make
we definitely are starting to explore on our end. But one of the things I'm seeing from the industrial side, say for a Walmart or our big grocery stores here as well, is a big push for plant-based milks,
Yeah.
right? So we're starting to see where even you'd be nice to see a replacement of milk with cow's milk with goat's milk. Instead, we're seeing almond milk, soy milk, even coconut milk, and even oat milk is now new. And so it's taking up a lot of the refrigeration space of even milk. Maybe a little bit of grass-fed milk we're seeing, but still, for the most part, the food industry is driving what we have access to. It's harder to find grass-fed beef here that's from a
is.
local farmer than it is, say, meth. It's really sad, right? I mean, you can find illegal drugs faster than you can find healthy foods here.
It is
That's
sad.
the parts of overdeveloped countries.
Mhm.
I'm on purpose using this overdeveloped because when you compare the industrial development of USA with the rest of the world, who are further ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think we should. Oh, we have some interesting inputs.
Yeah, it's our dog is
Our
squeaking
puppy.
her toy.
Agrees or disagrees with me. Okay,
Yeah, so Teresa just responded. She's a good friend of ours and a big fan of yours, by the way. She says it does take some research to find mascarpone, but health food, especially specialty stores, have it. And she lives in Missouri, so that gives me hope. That gives me hope. Of course, there's a lot more farms in Missouri than there are around here in Florida, but that's good.
I would like to say hello also to BG. BG is very often with us in our live video.
BG, is the sound any better yet? She mentioned earlier that the sound wasn't so great, but you guys sound great on our end, so I'm not sure if there's anything we can do.
You can make mascarpone at home. It's very easy. You need only 50% butter, 50% cream. Let's try to make organic cream if you can.
Sure.
So just heat it up a little bit, not very high temperature, so that it melts nicely. Mix it all together. Place it in the refrigerator, and tomorrow you have your mascarpone. So it's not so difficult.
We're gonna make some.
Yeah.
Please do. You will love it. And you can use it, just add a dash of cacao, some cinnamon, and you can use sweetener, or you can even skip sweetener, and you will have a great spread or just a treat at the end of your meal, like a puzzle. It's really good if you're gonna be able to find goat butter. So to make goat butter contains all the health benefits of goat milk, because all the benefits of goat milk are in the fat.
Sure.
Because fats usually contain all the good things for us, fatty acids.
Exactly.
So
this is our main energy, and I think Grigor's Keto, that's its manifesto. You know, it's eating at home, eating organic, and finding all these sources that keep us healthy, that promote our health. This is our manifesto, and I know that a lot of people says, but I like to have a Coca-Cola Zero, for example, to have all these products that they're zero fat, zero sugar, but this exact product is keeping you stalling, it's keeping your weight loss.
making you unhealthy.
Not only you have this plateau, and eventually internals are destroyed from these products.
Different systems in your body are suffering, and then sooner or later your body cannot stand so much processed stuff.
The same thing applies to people who are actually using steroids. They have an Olympian physique, but inside they're destroyed. Their organs are destroyed. It's the same thing. Yeah, maybe you're gonna have some results with this kind of food because it has 0 calories, 0 this, 0 that, but liver, pancreas, intense things, they're going to be destroyed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things we are always promoting. You know, even our food list, there is nothing processed on the food list we have on our sites. It is all real food. Meat, non-starchy vegetables is the main, the very core of this way of eating for us. And, we don't tell people never eat a artificial sweetener, because sometimes people need it just for a little bit, right? But the point is if you can just eat real food, you're going to resolve most of your problems. Some people can handle dairy, some people can't. If you need to back off and not do dairy for a while, you're already backing off on so much already. It's just one more thing, right? So that's really the thing. If you can get rid of the foods that are toxins in your life, you're going to be so much better off. You're going to not only just lose weight, your inflammation is going to drop off. Other health issues that you didn't even know that you had, like your for example, GERD, or indigestion that you didn't realize you thought was normal, all of a sudden goes away. These are amazing things that we really like to see within people's lives, and that's one of the things that keeps driving us. We had no idea that we would feel so much better. We were looking for weight loss when we first started off. I had no imagination that my autoimmune symptoms would go away. I just assumed those would be around forever. But
really,
this is healing for people, and that's why it's so important to us, because we feel better. We want our friends, our family, everybody in our country to feel better.
Nobody should be in so much pain and misery and depression.
Extremely important to share this. This is why we are not keep working different levels of Glucose Keto project, and we actually love to cooperate with other Ketonians, as we like to call them, and especially with the scientists, doctors, those who actually accepted that this could be the solution to many problems that modern humans have today. Because nutrition is base of everything. Ever since ancient times, if Hippocrates knew that nutrition actually plays the major role in healing process, then who are we to say no? Because it's been working like that for thousands of years. It's true. It's really working like that. There are millions of us getting better, getting slimmer, feeling better, and psychologically.
And also you talked about intermittent fasting. I think this is the main component in nutrition, fasting, not consuming food so often. People over-consuming, overdosing themselves with especially sugar, because let's say I will not take gluten food like bread, and I'm going to take corn. What's the difference of white bread with corn? I don't see difference. For me, it's the same thing. Starch, yes, exactly. It's going to be sugar in the body.
It makes you hungry all the time.
It's constantly the same subject going on and on, but we must never get tired of it, because there's always one person that has never heard about it and will benefit from hearing about it. This is why I think it's really, really good to talk about these great discoveries that we got. You guys got them. Some other Apollonas's clients, he's sharing stories from his clients, and he had great results. I'll tell you just a few. There was a young girl, 21 years old, who was scheduled for liver transplantation.
Oh, wow.
This was really sad story. The girl had cirrhosis from overeating fruits. She was eating 2 or 3 kilos of fruits per day. So all this fructose totally destroyed her liver, the same way as it destroys alcoholics' liver. So the fruit doing exactly the same thing. Before the surgery, 40 days before surgery, she came to Apollonas just because she wanted to get ready for the surgery. So she said, I want a meal plan which will boost my energy, etc. But she will go to a surgery. He put her on a really strict diet. It was a keto, it was a therapeutic keto which excluded even the smallest amount of fructose from some vegetables which contain it also. So after 40 days, she did some exams before the surgery. The next day she was supposed to have surgery, and the doctor said, I don't know what you have been doing, but your liver is regenerating and you will not have a surgery. 40 days of keto.
Right.
This is the best story I have to share with you, and the girl is
That's
still
amazing.
original liver working and doing perfectly. Her life is back to normal, but she will never eat fruits again.
Right.
She cannot eat fruits again. She cannot have fructose ever again. But she can live without it. Everybody can live without it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. What's amazing, I was talking to my brother yesterday because he comes and stays with us sometimes, and he travels to the United States. But when he was here last time, he was doing keto pretty strong, and he left over the holidays, and before he left, his blood pressure was perfect and everything else. He went off. He didn't go terrible bad. He just ate a few things, right? He was probably eating 100 carbs a day versus 20, and his blood pressure went back up. He gained 15 pounds. It's because we are so insulin resistant. We are so hyperinsulinic. We are so sensitive, carb sensitive, I guess is the word. Is that it's not something that we can just eat. We're not going to have the luxury of being able to overeat carbs.
No.
For now, maybe even ever.
Never again.
And it's okay. It's not essential.
I
right?
don't miss it.
I don't miss it. Once the cravings are gone, they're gone.
Which is amazing.
Right. So can you guys maybe talk to a little bit about how you guys help people get over their cravings for carby food?
Well, there are two ways.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you try to restrict it, it's gonna be even worse.
Mm.
If you say, okay, you will not have treat ever again, things like this.
Mm-hmm.
For example, for this specific girl, she can have a little bit of sea butter because it has so little, or lemon juice has so little fructose, so still will not be forever without all.
Right.
For other people who are extremely chocolateholic, we have made it great recipe. It's really natural to crave cacao, and today we posted a great recipe for ancient chocolate drink.
Yeah.
Can also work against
Coffee
addiction and sugar addiction. And generally, if you're craving chocolate, you can have a cup of this wonderful potion, I would call it, because ancient warriors and Mayas and Aztecs, they were using it as a potion before the fight, before the
battle.
So it was giving a lot, it is giving a lot of energy, but the key here is to use the organic ingredients and raw. There is a big difference between cacao and cocoa. Maybe you have heard about these two expressions. So it's really okay to have cacao still on keto diet. It's extremely beneficial. It will give you so much potassium. It will give you so many great minerals and vitamins. But it has to be raw. It has to be organic. I know it's pricey, but it's better to buy organic cacao. So you can make your fat bombs. You can make your beverages, even hot chocolate, or whatever you're going to make with it, than to go and buy industrial supplements. Invest this money in such things, organic, raw foods, material.
But it's really hard for some people. Let's say for me, when I feel that I need to eat something sweet, I'm going to make my homemade burgers in my pan with coconut oil, for example, or butter, and this sweet craving is going to go away.
Precisely. That's exactly what I do.
He does.
That's what I do.
I need my chocolate though.
I keep ground beef on hand, and I cook it up. We save our hamburger fat. We cook it up in that, and the savory replaces the sweet for me.
Yeah, but if there was a sweet, if I made something, he will eat a small portion.
Sure.
Yeah,
at the end of his.
But I had a conversation with I would say a very big name in low carb sector. Why you are writing about the sweets and ketogenic diet should not have any sweets, blah 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 blah. But when somebody wants to go from one wagon of regular diet, jump into keto wagon, how is going to do it with this transition if you will not have anything? It's going to be Spartan.
Right.
It's total Spartan. So it's going to say, yeah, exactly. Maybe this is like 2% of people can go strict Spartan plan, and the other one going to say, I don't have chocolate, I don't have vanilla, I don't have this, I don't have that. Let it. Better let me die with sugar.
And it's a natural transition, right? So I can remember when we first started out, we were looking for bread replacements and potato replacements all over the place, right? Because we were so used to having those things.
Right.
And it seems crazy to me now because now I don't desire it. But at that time, it was
As
very
you're
important to us.
transitioning, it's important.
Yeah, it was really important to us to have something that would replace that. Now we were using we would go to coconut flour and we'd use, some of the fiber replacements and things like that. And it kind of worked. It was never great, right? You can never say, well, this is the best bread I've ever had, but at least it was something that got you down there, right?
Did you try any Grigos keto bread?
No, but we weren't there at that point, right? We didn't know you guys yet. So we were just using some of the things we found on Pinterest and things like that.
Cloud bread
Yeah, the
and
cloud bread and the mug bread and
some flax bread.
yeah, the
flaxseed
flaxseed meal. They're okay.
What's the point of keto bread?
Mhm.
The nutrition density. Because,
Right.
for example, if I'm going to be on a day trip all day in a car and I won't be able even to stop somewhere to buy something.
Mhm.
This is when I'm making bread. And
Oh, that's a good idea.
I'm usually making it in those muffin molds, so it's convenient to eat it.
Bite size,
And it
right?
can contain all the nutrients. Can have some bacon inside, can have some cheese, can have some good veggies. I often put some zucchini in the bread,
Right.
or some asparagus, etc. So keto bread actually is a trick to do keto on the go.
I love it.
I don't make it when we know that we're going to stay a whole week at home. We don't need it. But when we know we have to travel, we usually go to keto bread, one of the Grigos keto bread recipes. And the
I need to
best
try
one
one.
so far, Apollonath's favorite, is the flourless keto bread, which is made only with ground nuts and seeds. And we are usually using very low carb nuts, and from seeds we like to use sesame seeds. It's boosting the taste and also has a lot of minerals. Sesame is a really, really good seed, and it's very keto friendly.
Well, that's good news because Shauna's traveling next week to Washington to go see her daughter.
Yeah.
And so
I'll be gone for 2
she
weeks.
was thinking, what am I going to do for snacks? Because she has a little problem with nuts, right? So the bread idea, she might have to use the flour bread, but so that's gives. I mean, putting vegetables and bacon and stuff like that in it sounds like she's gonna have to make some extra for me, even though I'll be home.
There are these, I would like to recommend at this point, these Mediterranean muffins with prosciutto and feta cheese.
Okay.
We actually spoke about this clash of Italians and Greeks. So we put something Italian and something Greek into
That's so
keto
cool.
and they turned out really tasty, and many people like them on the road because they have a lot of salt, and this is good for you when you're traveling. You need to intake a little bit more sodium during the travel. Of course, you will have some water with you, so everything is
Absolutely.
very balanced.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'll have to make some before I leave then.
It's gonna be great, really.
And make
easy
some
to
for the
make. If you can
grandkids,
find
too.
Greek feta, if you cannot find Greek feta, just use just about any cheese you have.
Sure. Yeah. So Teresa also says I don't think I could look forward to a world without some desserts. So finding Grigos keto recipe gave me hope and motivation to stay on keto. You guys saved me, she said. So.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we are there for you if you have any questions. Just pop us a message or email. Grigos Keto is really open to answering whatever question. We receive a lot of questions during the day, and we really try to answer to everybody. We try to help. We love sharing.
But this is you can see the human behavior searching for replacement. That's the reason when I have a client, I cannot deny to eat something sweet. To them. Anyway, it's really difficult, and a lot of people, because they can't do it, they can't go just with meat. They think that everybody can do it. No, it's not like this, unfortunately.
No.
Everybody's different.
When I put a carnivore diet, it's just meat and it's okay.
There's a trick for when somebody really, really needs to go carnivore. The first reaction and the first fear is the vitamin C.
Right.
So what Apollonius usually does then is he gives them rose hip tea, which is extremely, extremely high in vitamin C. So they're going on carnivore, but they are having rose hip tea. This rose hip tea is really working great because it's even though you would say it's a fruit tea, it's not. It's more like a herbal tea because it's a dried fruit which actually doesn't contain almost no carb, but has enormous amount of vitamin C, which is getting even higher once
Because it's actually sour and
it has a lot of vitamin C. Once cooked, it has it even more. So it helps them to transition to carnivore diet, and then they have all the benefits. And the people who really benefit from carnivore diet usually are people with any kind of digestive problems connected with they cannot digest fiber at all.
Right.
When it's in a form of a tea, there isn't fiber.
I wrote an article about the zero carb because I didn't want to exclude olive oil and coconut oil. And I wrote about Inuit, the Eskimos, how actually they can survive with zero fiber. This proves everything.
Right.
This is a proof that, yes, we can be zero plant diet and we can go without any problem, just meat, and that's all.
It's doable.
Yeah.
We did this past summer in Greece. We did carnivore, and one thing what we noticed, you know how it is in Greece. It's extremely sunny and hot, and you might get sunburns, but we didn't at all. That summer, we noticed that our skin is much more resistant to sun rays than usually because I forgot sunblock. I didn't have it with me. So a few days I was in the beach without any sun protection, and I didn't get sunburned.
It's amazing. Yeah. We had the same experience.
Yeah, it's most probably because of 2 months of carnivore prior to that beach time.
Right. Well, you know, Shauna has lupus, and you know she used to have the problem. I mean, pre-August.
Sun sensitivity, I would always break out on my face and my arms. And
that butterfly
everywhere.
rash, right? She would get it. She doesn't get it anymore. I mean, and we live in Florida. We are.
And we were out all day last weekend?
Well, when we went to Tarpon Springs.
Yeah.
Right. So we were out.
And I didn't break out.
80 degrees. We were out in the sun all day long. Neither one of us got a sunburn. She didn't get a rash. I mean, that's a testimonial by itself. I know it's just, it seems like it's just one person, but it is not just us saying that. There are people all over Twitter, all over Facebook that are experiencing the same results. So it's really important. It really is.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing, and it's really important that you share this. You should talk more about your personal experiences. And, people like to get inspired by this. I think that all of us deserve better life. We deserve healthier life, and if there is somebody who knows how to do it, they should share. And because it looks like we cannot trust to official science anymore. You can't trust news anymore. You can't trust anything, but you can still trust other people, normal people, sharing their life experience.
I think this is going to make in our community much, much stronger, you know.
The keto community.
The keto community, exactly.
Our keto family.
It's going to be... I don't know if you remember from Star Trek, but when Captain Sisko met the prophets, he says to learn and coexist. This is the main knowledge, to share the knowledge that we
actually
have.
Tried to justify the human race.
Yeah.
Because the humans throughout the history had some bad and some good things. We were growing, and
this is the yin yang, you know, the bad and the good needs to be in balance.
But we need to bring a little bit more of good to this world, because
a
lot of bad things are happening. And unfortunately, you know what happened in New Zealand 2 days ago.
Yeah.
This is happening all over Europe. In the USA, we are hearing a lot of bad news. A lot of bad energy is around us. So it's difficult to survive in this world. So the only thing we can do is help our body and spirit and mind by giving it the proper nutrition and giving it the proper lifestyle.
Nourishment,
Right.
Well, if you think about it also, just from the mental stability point of view, right? A lot of these people are so depressed and angry, and you know, it could be how much of it is just diet related, right? They are eating so much sugar that it is impacting the way that they think. And
Right.
it makes people angry. It makes people take action that they should never be taking. They would never take otherwise. So if we can stabilize that, and we will get together along better as humans, and I think that's really important too. It seems to impact
coexist
every
more.
part of our life.
Because these mood swings actually they're because of the hypoglycemia which is happening too often. Eating enormous amounts of sugar, overdosing ourselves, going the insulin, bring it total down, and after that a lot, especially children, you can see how hyperactive they are.
Right.
Suddenly they're crashing, starting crying, and changing behavior.
It definitely affects our mentality.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Showing us exactly what the sugar is doing.
Mhm. And then the parents get mad at their kids because they're acting that way, but
But they're the ones feeding them
way
that.
for a reason.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And it's a chain reaction.
exactly. It's a chain reaction, and the children don't have the ability to have money with them.
They don't
to go to
understand.
Keto stuff. They don't know what is going on. If the
Mhm.
parent will not buy keto or carnivore or something like this,
Oh,
or even low carb,
Yeah.
I mentioned this. Keto and low carb is totally children safe.
Hmm.
Now, many people are complaining, oh, I cannot put my children on keto. Okay, nobody told you have to put them on keto, but you can put them on low carb and paleo. Paleo is extremely good for children.
Well, I usually put it as like, just feed them real food.
Yeah.
Give them meat and vegetables. Don't call it, if you don't want to call it keto, don't call it keto. Just take them off the processed food. They should their food should never come in a box, right?
They don't have to be in ketosis. They can
No.
be just some sort of low carb diet where they will eat real food, and then the reward will come in low glycemic treats.
Right.
Not high glycemic treats full of sugar and starch, because every 10th child in this planet has diabetes. This is a fact today, and we have to deal with every 10th child and person in general has diabetes. So this is
even the community here, we're living in a city approximately of 80,000 people, and like 5,000 people, they have at least diabetes.
They're not aware of it yet, but if there will be testing, they will find out even worse numbers, because it's like pre-diabetes is also a kind of diabetes, because it's leading there if you don't do something.
Well, all people do is measure their glucose, right? And they'll measure it when they're fasting. So that's not even a very good indicator, right? I mean, you have to actually measure your insulin as well as your glucose, because you could have perfectly normal glucose levels, but your pancreas is pumping out huge amounts of insulin just to keep it normal.
Yeah, type 2 diabetes. That's exactly what I was talking about.
Fasting insulin is everything, I think. And actually, I send a lot of my clients to make about the insulin test and intolerance test. A lot of people don't understand that you need to make an intolerance test to see which particular foods make you sick. Promote inflammation in the body.
I'm finding a lot of foods make me sick. So
there's another thing is just yesterday, Nina Teicholz from the Big Fat Surprise put out a tweet where somebody has actually doing a test with a continuous glucose monitor, right? So they've got it on their arm, and so this person, and doing this test, they're not diabetic. They have a normal metabolism, but they just want to test it out. So they wore it for a while. And one of the things that she ate 1/2 cup of oatmeal and a teaspoon of sugar. Her blood glucose, no, it's honey. Yeah, a teaspoon of honey. Her glucose went from 70 to 170 in 2 hours. Wow. So the continuous glucose monitor, which is becoming more available, is going to be the game changer. If we can now start monitoring that, I think this might be the thing that turns things around. And they're not, here in the US, I did some research, they're not that expensive. So now you can get a prescription and get the monitor unit for $40, and you can buy the testing unit that has to be replaced every 10 to 14 days for another, I think, $80. So it's not hugely expensive, but it's something that people could do if they just wanted to find out where they're at, what foods are getting them. That's something I'll probably do, maybe in the next couple months as a test to say, hey, here's what food. Although the problem I have with it, I don't want to eat oats.
Yeah, we're not going to eat oats.
I don't want to
We're
eat
not
anything
gonna
that's higher
honey.
glycemic, but
Yeah.
but it might just be useful to show how stable we are, right? I think that's
Yeah.
There's another thing where you can benefit from measuring your blood glucose. This is something I learned from a colonist, and she's doing it with many clients. When the clients cannot afford these tests, food intolerance, they're testing certain types of food and then measuring blood glucose. Usually, when you are very allergic or intolerant to certain type of food, your blood glucose after consuming this food is going extremely up, even if this is not high glycemic food. For example, cacao. This was a great way to test intolerance.
Actually, you're fasting, you're measuring your glucose, and you're consuming like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of this food. And after half an hour, you're measuring again your glucose.
Right.
And if it's extremely big difference, then you understand that you have allergy in this food.
Or kind of intolerance to this food. So there's another way to test.
right. A regular blood glucose meter is not very expensive here in the United States. I found one, I think it was like $30, and I found test strips I can get 50 for like $20. So it's not hugely expensive. It's more expensive than it should be because it's really not much. But so we did a test last week with some sugar-free candies, right? So, and they contain maltitol. My blood glucose went up to 111 from 75 to 111. So, okay,
Mine was
I can't eat
even
that stuff.
higher, and I never get high blood sugar.
That's it. I can't eat that stuff.
Luckily here we have for free the meters.
So I'm going to get some cacao and make some desserts.
But a lot of people don't want to be in this kind of process, to measure glucose, to measure ketones. I don't know why not, because as I told you, the meters are for free. You can go to the pharmacy and get it for free. Just you need to buy the strips.
The strips are expensive here, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
They actually make it unless you buy the right brand. I bought the Freedom, the Freedom brand, I think, and found one that was fairly inexpensive. But I checked several others, and it was very expensive, like $100 for 100 strips. Is a lot. So you have to really kind of shop it around. That's where that's their income stream, right? That's they're making insulin very expensive, and they're making the testing equipment very expensive. So if you can find the right brand, it does help for that. So
yeah, and I thought here that it was really expensive because 50 stripe cost like $15.
Right.
And I thought it was really expensive, but when you're talking about $100, this is.
And these are the things we were talking about, different standards. So, okay, I hear that there are like extremely expensive stuff in the USA. I just got a message from our quail eggs farmer at this moment, and this reminded me. We are buying quail eggs, like 30 eggs for $2. $2,
yeah.
And in the USA,
organic. This is organic.
Of course. And in the USA, people are first of all having trouble finding it, and then when they
they're
find
expensive,
it's way overpriced. But this is medicine. This is not just food. So it's maybe better to invest a little bit of your money into this than to buy supplements. Again,
we're definitely spending less on regular groceries. So
they're pure medicine, and people can find it usually in Asian grocery stores. So quail eggs or goat milk, goat butter, and sea buckthorn. By the way, I wanted to ask you, Shona, did you give another try to sea buckthorn juice?
I have not. I'm a little afraid of it.
You're brave enough. Okay, I know that it's very sour.
I may have made it too strong or too much. Used too much of it with the water. I probably didn't water it down enough.
You need to actually use like 2 tablespoons. That's it. The rest of it has to be water, and you can use some sweetener.
I'll try it again.
Yeah. At first, it was like drinking gasoline. It was so delicious. It's like
400 times more sour than lemon juice.
Yeah, it is sour.
I probably made it too. I didn't water it down enough.
Chokeberry, something else.
Yeah.
But but we have an article.
Yeah.
There are things on this planet still which can make us feel better, happy, be healthier, and this is what is our main mission. To discover these ancient foods, talk more about it, and encourage people to use it, and also to go back into the kitchen and learn to cook from scratch.
Sure.
This is something that's like a mission. Of
Now,
ours.
if I remember right, you did that because you were losing some hair, correct?
Right.
Well, that's slowed down. It's stopped now, right? So part of her motivation for doing it stopped, and I think it might have been that she just wasn't eating enough protein at one point, right? So,
That's probably.
so
I mean, I was losing handfuls of hair.
and so she's upped her protein, and I think that might have resolved it. But we'll still try the sea buckthorn juice. Hopefully, using less of it will be more satisfying.
Definitely.
Maybe also have to have a little more calories. Meals. If you are eating 2 meals a day, this is usually what you recommend.
Yeah, with hypothyroidism. Yeah, and hair loss definitely, because Roberta had the same problem, but luckily she has a nutritionist at home, so
Yeah, so she's doing good.
He fixed me like in a month, but he put me on carnivore back then.
Right.
Maybe for the protein.
People they have a tendency to go to shampoos, go in these creams, or to put yolks in their hair. I don't know, but
those yolks,
better
don't
eat
put
this.
it on the hair.
No.
I don't know, but everything
Some
is
people are using mayonnaise. They're putting mask made of mayonnaise.
hair. Hair is dead, and you need to cure it from inside, not from outside.
It's working. Everything has a solution, and patience. Patience is a great actually answer to many questions.
Well, yeah, in the case of hair, it takes about 3 months to really get through the next cycle. Anyway, hair doesn't grow fast, right? And a lot of times it's stress, right? So if you do a major change in anything, whether it be diet or you're having a stressful situation, it can cause a problem within your hair temporarily, but then it takes a good bit of time to recover as well. So you're always fighting things that happened in the past with your hair. So.
Yeah, definitely, because me too, when I was starting losing hair, and I kept an archive, and I went back and I see what is going on with my hair. I just realized that I was consuming around 600 grams of carbohydrates per day, and this promotes my hair loss. During this bodybuilding era, nutrition,
But you have genetic free.
I have
of course.
genetics. I think this was one more.
It's quite normal.
Stone
Men.
in the.
There are men who simply will lose their hair at one point, but it's not normal for women. So this is why a hair loss on keto is a bigger problem for women, and it's fixable. It's really fixable, and I would definitely recommend trying like 40 days of carnivore. It's enough.
Nails and hair together, yeah.
Yeah, love that. Our nails are definitely amazingly in great shape now. Whereas part of being the autoimmune disease for both of us, our nails were in terrible shape prior to going keto, and sometimes we do carnivore. We kind of cycle in and out of it, as we need to. Oh, by the way, we just last week got a sous vide, and we just fell in love with meat all over again.
It's amazing.
Even more so.
Amazing. Very tender.
To give a little bit more emphasis to lamb.
Oh, we love lamb.
I love lamb. I love the wildness to it.
Wild, yeah.
Also, if it's possible for you to get rabbit meat, it's extremely beneficial, especially for women. So maybe you can search into it. We have an article about it. Why rabbit
We used to raise rabbits.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And chickens.
Somewhere around there's a farm you can find
Of course.
rabbit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can find it in normal grocery stores.
No.
No, we tried that once.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll keep looking around.
We usually buy it in Lidl, which is like European version of Aldi's. Like we have in Aldi.
Very
But
good.
anyway, there are those types of meat which are kind of forgotten, and humans need to rediscover it. When it comes to seafood, there are people who cannot stand seashells, but actually they are delicacy and they're extremely, extremely beneficial for any kind of deficiency in minerals and especially selenium.
Selenium, yeah.
And iodine, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially for people with thyroid problems.
mhm.
Yeah.
Very true.
ancient food is an to everything, really. And the ancient peoples of all continents have answered to many things. We also are using a lot of herbs, not only as spices, but also in teas and herbal teas. It's like a new discovery for me. I have at least 50 kinds of herbal teas, and I would experiment with them, but the Polonus usually is creating the recipes and mixtures for specific conditions, and it's possible, but you need a slightly more time for herbal remedy to work than the classical ones. For example, if you have a headache, a mint tea could help you, but will not help you immediately. It's going to help you in several hours, but you will have to take sips of mint tea every few minutes.
That's why I like mint.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, especially peppermint. But the thing is, people rather take some analgesic and get rid of headache in 2 or 3 minutes.
Ibuprofen, but what to do?
Well, one of the problems with ibuprofen is it makes you retain water like crazy too. So, I mean, I've actually heard that's a people in professional sports will use ibuprofen to help them go up a weight class when they need to. So that tells you it's probably not the best partner with your weight loss to be taking too much ibuprofen. So
the official pharma industry, pharmaceutical products usually have side effects, while herbal remedies, most of the cases, have zero side effect.
right.
So this
Well,
is another.
I know for a fact that I was taking naproxen, which is branded as Aleve here, twice a day, every day for my pain. And now the only time I ever even think about taking one is if I've worked out too hard. So, I mean, that is, I wasn't able to sleep at night because my back was hurting so much. Now I sleep all the time. Now I oversleep.
Since he was in his 20s, so he hasn't really slept very well for like 30 years.
Yeah. So,
now he sleeps and he doesn't snore anymore. That's amazing.
That's a progress, yeah.
Yeah.
huge progress.
You have this pain or cramps after exercising, maybe consider eucalyptus leaves. Pick a tea of eucalyptus leaves and drink it at room temperature, maybe 2 cups a day.
Yeah.
And it's going to really, really help.
And it's great to inhale eucalyptus leaves for the respiratory system. It's it's the best actually.
Very good.
Do you guys have some kind of herbal pharmacy? We call it pharmacy here, where you can go and buy.
I don't know.
Well, we have health food stores, which is probably about the best. And we also have,
We have Sprouts.
Yeah, we have grocery stores here like Whole Foods and Sprouts and things like that tend to carry that type of thing more often. And they definitely overcharge the heck out of you for it, but at least it's available.
This is good information because sometimes Apollonas has clients from the USA who don't know where to find all these herbs. Sometimes he's prescribing them herbal teas, but they cannot find these herbs.
Yeah, so Whole Foods and Sprouts are probably across the United States best places to find things like that. Yes.
And online also, right?
Oh yeah, very true. Amazon's amazing that way, but again, you don't know exactly what you're getting all the time. True, from that too.
This getting a label, the organic or natural, became very easy.
Sure.
They need to make those testing a little bit more. It's like
stringent. Yeah.
Tricks, exactly, because when something is really organic, this means that the soil where the plant.
The same applies into stevia. You're going and you're buying a stevia product, for example, and it has maltodextrin, dextrin inside, and all the other components together.
Yeah, this is stevia blend.
Yeah,
that's why we always go for 100%. Stevia
And leaves.
If
Yeah.
we have to use it with a blend because it's easier for majority of people to find blends, but then we go only for stevia blended with erythritol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fortunately, we do have a brand here called Truvia that does that, and they've done a good job. Even Splenda now has a Splenda Naturals that does the same thing. So it's catching on, which is great. The consumer market is starting to drift towards healthier. Maybe it's not just keto. Maybe there's other things involved too, but things are beginning to drift in some ways in that direction. So it's a positive sign.
Have you been able to source the monk fruit?
It is available. We haven't bought it. We've just been sticking with stevia.
That would be the best sweetener.
We did have some
Did
one
we?
time. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's available. It's just not always available.
It's the best sweetener you can have because not only that it's not harmful, it also has some antioxidant properties. So
Cool.
it would be the best keto sweetener. Better
All right,
than
we will
stevia.
get some.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Publix has it.
And it was really, really great talking to you guys.
Same here.
You too.
we
Thank
love
you
what
for taking the
do.
time.
It's great that you have this autoimmune group or the group or how it's exactly called. I'm a
Yeah,
member
keto for autoimmune diseases.
Keto for autoimmune diseases. It's amazing group, and I think that in general,
growing,
what we are
too.
promoting at Big Goes Keto and what you guys with Keto Mojo Go
Mm.
are most of the time talking about is very compatible, and we love cooperating with you. So next
We're
time we
honored
do
that
one
you
live video,
joined
we
us.
should invite you to join us
That'll be great.
Yeah.
and share your wonderful stories because you have really good stuff to share and people have a lot to learn from you.
Oh, well, thank you guys.
You
We
too.
appreciate it very much, and
Thank you.
we're enjoying
You've
our.
inspired us.
My hair is tingling right now. We're enjoying our growth and meeting new people, and we've never had such a connection with a community in our life like
Yeah.
we do now, and that's
And
important.
especially with you two.
Yeah, it is great, guys.
You guys are a wonderful couple.
Thank you.
All right, and everybody, if be sure and reach out to Greek Goes Keto. GreekGoesKeto.com. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. They're on
They have some
Instagram.
amazing recipes.
Check them out. They're available if you have any questions, any nutritional questions about herbs, and those are not our expertise. So we definitely will direct people to you for those type of
Yes.
things, and we will follow that advice as well.
Yeah.
And
I want a list of different things.
it's on their site,
Yeah.
right? So definitely check that out, and please reach out to them if you have any questions. Share this with your friends on Facebook. If you think this might be helpful for you, and we will see you guys next time. And you guys take care. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.